All right, hey folks, we're going to do some more Spelljammer art today. Give me a second here to check my signal. I'll go through my intro spiel and then we'll get to work. Let's see, doing a mic check, 1, 2, 3, mic check, 1, 2, 3, mic check, 1, 2, 3. That sounds like me. All right, sound a little quiet today, don't I? Let's see if I can fix that with being noisy. All right, so let's see. My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them online. I've been, and then I make a little. Where's my intro? I make role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. There's a slew of links in the description down below. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition for the past 5 years. All the stuff that I have linked down below are free previews for people to take a look at. I'm going through the process of clicking into Twitter and the Reddit communities and across Discord right now. So give me a second while I press a bunch of buttons to hammer through all of this stuff, and then I'll be able to actually get to work. So I'm almost done here, and then we'll get to work. So let's see. We're really close to being done. We've got one. After we finish this illustration, we have, I think, like maybe two more illustrations that we really need to finish before we're in the final loop to getting this thing truly done. So hold on here real quick. Ba-dump, and then ba-dump, and then blurp, and then like that. Cool. Okay. Reddit community. Hey, Spelljammer Preservation. Thank you so much for being interested in the work that I do. I just posted I'm live on Twitter at Phil Kearney. You can follow me there to get notifications when I'm live and got things going on. Best way to support the channel right now is to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'm striving to reach 500 subscribers. That would be amazing to have that many. So if you think the stuff that we're doing today or the other days I stream are cool, consider jumping on board to help me grow the channel. Let's see. This book cover we created back around episode 15. If you click here into more, here's the full playlist of all 295 episodes. This was made back around episode 15, so you can go check out making the book cover. Otherwise, what are we doing here? We make role-playing games, we illustrate them, we publish them online. So I've been building this document. And so we play test. We have new ideas for mechanics for combat and exploration to make Spelljammer feel more like 5e D&D in space. So we play test this stuff. It works. We wordsmith it. We hire an editor. The editor helps us make sure that the words come back good. I then drop all of the text into a page layout program. I use Microsoft Word. And you can see here there's all these little gaps in the pages. So let's drop down to the page that we're working on right now. Welcome back. Jump. Here's the page that we're working on right now, right here. So you can see there's gaps here. We would then go into here, into Photoshop, and wrong illustration. There we go. Blup, blup, blup. So you got a page here, and then you drop in the illustration, and we keep working. But I had shifted some text here. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how I build these things. Here's the text layer. I'm going to make that disappear for a moment. We're going to go up here. I have the frame of the border in already in the navigation bar at the bottom. So it's a background layer that I can overlay a hyperlink, a bar of hyperlinks. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to hit escape. That brings it back to full. We're on page 77. So I'm going to File, Export, create a PDF, Production, Interior Pages, System Generator, 77, Options, Current Page, Document Only, no markup, no properties, no structure tags, OK. 77, Publish, it'll pop open a PDF. There you go, see it? Without the border on it, and the background is set to transparent. I can then undo getting rid of the background. I can resave it to make sure I don't regret. I can then go into here. I can transparent page, file, open. 77. Pops open the PDF here, and I can then select all screen, copy it, drop it into this document. Since the page is the same size, paste in place. It's transparent. We add in the background again, so we have our framing, and then we add in we can delete the text, name this TXT, save, lock that down, and boop, there you go. So everything's been reinserted, and now we have where the text currently is at. Yeah, that's where the text is at. That's where the text is at. Cool. So we can go into the illustration here, and we can just rearrange where our asteroids are floating at. Retransform to accommodate the new space being occupied. Pardon the pun. There you go, Bob's your uncle. So let's work on some asteroids today. Blippity blippity blop. Merge down. Yeah, let's just do this here. We're gonna paint some asteroids today. E. So if you check out the previous streams, here's what we did. If you check out the previous streams, we had the cloud cluster option. So these are worlds of unusual composition. You can have a para-elemental composition, which is like instead of your basic compositions of, here, I'll show you the reference image that we're using, but I'm going to be replacing this. Air, earth, fire, water, or unusual composition on a D8, 1 through 7. You're going to have a fairly normal world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, right? And then the worlds of composition, if you roll an 8, it's going to be weird. So you have a D4. If it turns up para-elemental, instead of air, earth, fire, water, it's magma, ooze, ice, and smoke. And then the other options include a ring of moons. So instead of one world, the number of moons rolled above are equidistant from each other in a shared orbit, minimum of 2. Roll 1d10 for each moon on the air quality table and visibility tables below. There you go. Cloud cluster. So this ring of moons used to be underneath, used to be option 3, and cloud cluster was option 2. And then option 4 here is an asteroid belt. So 3 is a cloud cluster, which is instead of one world, it's an air world with the moons clustered within the same planetary atmosphere. Roll 1d8 on the air quality table and 1d10 on the visibility table below for the entire cloud cluster. So I can word that better, but we have the space, obviously, to do that. But this is a cloud system, and there's multiple moons that are floating inside of it. And then you have the asteroid belt, which is a random amount of asteroids that are floating in space here. I'm going to rearrange this like that. So when so we decided to go with the cloud cluster, and when we put it up here, it was like here I can have like a band of atmosphere going from the actual selection down into the actual cluster itself. So I have just a fun little compositional connection thing here. But when this was up here, the cloud cluster was a transparent background option, and the ring moons here, but we didn't make an illustration of the ring of moons. So then we're already and we're already not in alphabetical order because Power Elemental is leading the way. If I wanted to have alphabetical, I would have done asteroid belt first, but when I have an asteroid belt here, I need an additional variable table to indicate the size of the asteroids. So here we are. That's why that is. I rearranged those two things to have the cheeky little atmosphere curve thing go down into the cluster. And then so that we could have the asteroid belt, I brought in a little bit more to line up with the subsection, the option, the subchart option for asteroid size. There, that's not the right way of sequencing those words, but that's why I had to rearrange those things. And then on the next following page, we have air quality and visibility and world temperature, and what that indicates, like the type of how far away the world is from the planet, is an indication of the general heat. And then we have the scaling system, so that the closer you are to the planet, the more likely you are to be unnatural or extreme heat. And if you're 200 to 600 million miles, which is the habitable zone, an Earth system, for instance, it'd be D4 plus 2, right? So you've got anywhere from extreme heat to temperate. Yeah, and then from 600 to a million to a billion miles, it's either temperate or extreme cold. And then as you go further and further away, it becomes more likely to become extreme or unnaturally cold. D4 plus, yeah, that's an 8. So once you get out of this 1 billion mile range, it's impossible for you to have a normal temperature. It just gets colder and colder as you move away. So that's how that sequence is. And then we have the last page here of inhabitants, which we've looked at before. And when we get to this illustration, after we finish this one, I might make this one off screen. I might make it on screen. I'm not sure right now. I've still got pages, and I've still got 10 pages of Light as Araxis to process for edits, and then to drop in the token art and the map art and the ship art for the different combat sequences and encounters that we've created to use these rules with Light as Araxis. But that is it's a slow slog. So luckily I didn't promise. Well, I want to have it done in January, but if it isn't, then I know it's for a good cause. So we'll see if we can get there or not. I keep backsliding, but there's still chunks of stuff to do, and it's got to get done if it's going to be right. So, ooh, I can do this instead. The dash likes. Man, all right, I'm feeling pretty happy about this. Let's just keep it up. Just want to round these out, make them a little less chunkity. All the little furry bits, like these little scraggly bits, you gotta melt those down a little bit. Never have I ever done so many asteroids in my life. Luckily I enjoy doing them, but still, the excess is crazy. The excessiveness. Words are bad on today. I'm wording not good at all. Let's take some coffee. Keep our shit straight. I still got an hour today. Did not get good sleep last night, so I pushed back my alarm a little bit. Yesterday and today, honestly. Yeah, that feels like a good rock. Do that. Smooth that down a little bit. So I'm thinking about my home tables campaign that I need to build. And Jesus, I hope this project is done soon. I need to, I want to start streaming production of that campaign that I'm going to run my team. I need the bandwidth to be able to do so. So I'm a little gummed up right now. But I'll get there. We're going to get there. Just have to keep applying pressure until the fucking thing is done. Yeah, let's do it. Sound seems off today, doesn't it? I feel like I'm going deaf. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Let's play with the warp tool for a second just to see what we can push it into. Yeah, it feels better. It's got a sway, like a little swish sway going on here. That feels better for the composition overall. Burp. Feels good. All right, we'll go with that. Eepop warp and that means I love you. Thank you, Timely Timer, for keeping time. God, time flies when you're having fun, son. There, that feels good. Nope. Yep. Good. Oh, that feels pretty cool. But yeah, I can't directly work on the campaign yet, but I am thinking about it. So there's asteroids, asteroid mining operations. So there's prospecting, and then there is extracting the precious resources, and then there is transporting the resources back to a processing facility. And then there's a payout, and then there's gathering, and then there's distributing the wealth resources. There's negotiating, getting access to those resources to be distributed, and there is defending the miners and the shipment from space pirates or whatever. So there's multiple threats. There's different potential modes. I'm wanting to create multiple skill challenges. The problem that the challenge that I'm facing is that it's I have a up to potentially 6 people, but as few as 2. So I could have anywhere from 2 to 6 people playing any given session, depending on what their availability is. Because we're going to maintain a cadence of a specific time and day, and if you show up, great. If you don't, oh well. So I need to. Oh my God, this is sitting a lot. This feels nice. Fill this in. Where's that coming from? Yes. Oh, it's grit on my screen. Sometimes I see little specks, and I don't know if they're pixels or if they're grit. Sometimes it's just grit on my screen. That feels good. Computer just locked up. Undo, undo, save. I get the feeling my computer is sick. I don't know if the C drive is corrupting, in the process of corrupting, or if there's something wrong with the motherboard. I feel like something is off kilter. Luckily, I back up every day. Everything as it should be. This is very Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon was a cluster where you could just breathe between planets, right around in a convertible. A-OK, no problem. I like that world formatting where there's just a bunch of like asteroid kingdoms that were just hanging in a mutual orbit. This is attempting to take inspiration from very much. Flash Gordon was the first movie I chose to see in the theater. I think I was 5, maybe 6. I don't remember exactly when the movie came out. Like 81 maybe. And the second movie I chose to see was The Black Hole. Or was it the other way around? It gets jumbled up. It was so long. I remember seeing I remember seeing New Hope at Star Wars Episode 4. I remember seeing. No, I was too young for that. I was like 2. But I remember going to see Empire Strikes Back for my birthday. That was awesome. I got my mom had the day off with me and my sister, and we went to see Star Wars, and it was at the mall. This is in Kansas City. And at Target, there was it was actually James Earl Jones was actually at Target, and my sister got an autograph of Darth Vader that James Earl Jones signed. He was dressed up in garb, but it was advertised from what I remember my mom saying. It was advertised as James Earl Jones actually there when they did in-person promotion stuff back in the day at grocery stores and shit. I barely recommend. I can barely recall this. I remember being in Target. I remember Darth Vader. I remember a shitload of people. That was so small, and large groups of people intimidate me because I had such difficulty seeing when I was a little kid. That large crowds were just things I could lose track of my mom from. Because, you know, when you're 5, that's all you care about. That was super cool, though. That was good times, man. There was good movies coming out in the 80s. Saw Big Trouble Little China in the theater. That was super cool. That's a great D&D movie. I like this. This is all looking really, really nice. I think at this point I'm just mincing. Honestly, I don't think I need to do anything further with this. That looks really fucking cool. I lied. Push this atmosphere out into the orbit of the path of this asteroids a little bit more. There, that feels pretty good. Hey, Get Up, how you doing? You don't want to be awake right now? I don't want to be alone forever. Think you're bad? Check out these books. I mean, you've seen Bad Books, right? I gotta play Bad Books. Bad Books. Whacked. Oh, get the hell out of here.
Hey, you think you're evil? Well, you should try reading some of these books, like Kittens Make Great Jackets, Son of One Part 2, No Mommy, Not the Clown Suit, and Why You'll Be Alone Forever. Order now and receive a free body disposal handbook. Call now. Well, you should try reading some of these books, like Kittens Make Great Jackets.
Kittens Make Great Jackets.
Son of One Part 2.
Son of One Part 2.
No Mommy, Not the Clown Suit.
No Mommy, Not the Clown Suit.
And Why You'll Be Alone Forever.
I don't want to be alone forever. Such great books. I love that shit. Son of One Part 2. That's my favorite one. It means as a child of a broken family, and there's been 2 divorces. Because it's Part 2, Son of One Part 2. And, or they were part of a divorce, and then one of their parents died. It would be horrible if it was handed off. Like you had your mom and your dad died, your mom remarried, and then your mom died, and then you're stuck with a stepdad. I don't want to be alone forever. No, Mommy, not the clown suit. Kittens Make Great Jackets. Whacked was an X. It might have been on PS, but it was an Xbox, like original Xbox game, like back in I want to say 2001. It was a multiplayer battle arena sort of thing. You could have two. It was only 2 players because, you know, Xbox. No, it could. I think it supported up to 4 players. But it was a first-person, over-the-shoulder shooter with a bunch of goofball weapons. Like there was like a chicken gun, was shaped like a chicken, and when you squeezed its legs, it shot eggs out at people, and all sorts of stuff like that. But it was like capture the flag or like defense or a bunch of just like racing, like classic first-person shooter stuff. I mean, back in 2001 or whatever, that was still. Like GoldenEye 007 was still fairly hotness, right? So it was good tech and it was good game design for the time. It was goofy. It had all those as your between arena scenes. It would have whacked. It was WHACKED, and it was a bunch of contestants on a TV show, and they all had their own, like, if they won the competition, they got their wish was fulfilled, and so they each had their own little mini, like all the different character options had their own little mini story. Like there was a couch. I know there was a guy on medications, like on Quaaludes or something, morphine. He was all drugged out and barely conscious, and he was on a lazy boy, but the lazy boy was the actual player. It was a sentient couch, and it would trot around on all fours like a dog, and it had the bark lounge, and the guy was passed out. He'd be flopping around on the back of the couch like this, as the chair would stampede across the. You pilot it like a truck. It was so fucking fun. There was some stupid shit, but there was some really, really funny bits about it. And all between scenes that have all these little silly cartoons that actually would teach you, that were either complete bullshit or would teach you, like would give you hints about how to defeat the next puzzle. Like one of them was like do's and don'ts, and it was somebody was in the back of a truck and there was a cop car driving behind them. So they took a can of spray paint and they lit a fire. And then they just started napalming the front of the police car and the windshield with napalm with paint spray flame, and it was like it drove along for like a second or two, and then the cherries kicked on and the siren went up, and that was the end of it. But the next competition was everyone was micro-sized, and they were running around in the back in the bed of the pickup truck, and there was a lighter and there was a paint can, and you had to jump on the top of the paint can to make the thing spray, and you would kill all your opponents. But while you did that, it would also hit the cop car behind you, that was like parallaxing behind in the background of the actual battle. It was so fucking funny. It was great. But need to mute for now. Edited video. Right on, man. Hey, well, thanks for the counts. Good luck, man. You're doing good works. We're all doing good works. We just obsess over different things. But yeah, that was fun. That was a very fun. And so I love the cartoons like that. I think that's the best video. I think that one was the funniest. It's the one that I go back most often. Yeah, I'm good with those. Let's layer in some good. So let's go up here to our reference. Grab some highlights. Yeah, light source over here, maybe? Oh, I paused my music. Switch out my tools. Let's get our scratchers here. We're going to go with our razor blade, and I want the pick tool, mountain chalk pick. Here's what here's how this tool looks. And here's how this tool looks. So I can use these as smudging tools, and it has all these different edges. And if I have a really high strength, yeah. Anyway, here, if it's a high strength, then I can pull the pixels around well. And instead of making it smudge, it kind of pushes and carves with these hard edges. It makes it easier to create neat little pock marks and asteroidy type stuff by moving the brush around in different ways. I can create little pock mark effects like that and widget it around a little bit and ninja it. I can swap between. Love making asteroids. So many asteroids in this book. There's so the Lattice Araxis conversion guide that we're providing creates an asteroid field for Topola's Tower. Hold on, I'll show you guys what I mean. Production locks. Where's my locks? Is that right? Interior pages. LOX. There we go. I think I've shown this before, but this is the I made this back I made this map back around like episode 40, so you can jump into the Wayback Machine. Jump into the full playlist here. I think it's back around episode 40 that we were building this, but this is a revision of Topola's Tower. Since we have this scaling mechanic, each of these squares is 50 feet, which is like a living ship for like a galleon ship, for instance, which is 150 feet long, right? It would occupy a space about a 3x3 space to dock here, but little fighter craft fit inside of 50-foot spaces. And there's this is the Omama encounter where there's a scaver. It's a huge size 15-foot by 15-foot scaver that hunts throughout these asteroids, and including Topola, who's the gal, the sorcerer that owns this tower in the middle of this asteroid field. So there's a number of points here which are different interest points, right? One is the tower. There's like mollyhawk nests over here. There's this dwarf-looking face thing, which is the implied remnants of a dwarven citadel. We have some lichen that exist over here. This rock is always warm for some reason, and sharks like to sleep on it. And then there's just a bunch of schools of fish that fly around inside of here. So you roll a d6 to see when the shark comes in onto the battlefield. You'll get a ping off of your orrery sensor that the shark is approaching. The DM can roll a d6 to see which spot is it interested in being, and there's different benefits and penalties that you get depending on which of these d6 the target is the shark is interested in exploring or where it's hunting at. So you get different advantages. Like if it goes to Sleeping Rock, it'll be asleep, so you get a free hit on it. If it's over here, it's going to be if it's over here, the mollyhawks, all the mollyhawks are dead. The only mollyhawks that remain are around the tower itself, which it generally tries to stay away from. But if your team used some Kandori whales to get your ship to Topola's Tower, spoiler alert, if you had to use Kandori to tow your ship to the tower, and you don't want to let the Kandori go yet because your ship doesn't work, then the Kandori become incredibly tempting for the Scabbard to come and attack. You can use those as lure, but otherwise you have these fighter craft that you can fly around and chase the shark around inside of the asteroid belt. And one of the things that I want to do, get rid of that, is so this is 50 foot. So this is 50, 100, 150, 50, 100, 150, about 200 feet. It's like a 200 by 50 foot space. And if it's, you know, an asteroid, it's this big, right? So it's it's 50, 100, 150, like 200 feet. So like a 200 by 200 by 150 foot. That is a massive structure. So if this is the remnants of a Dwarven Citadel, once I make a Dwarven Citadel map, I can break up the map into a mini dungeon to have. So like maybe one of the reasons Topola has decided to roost here is because as an archaeologist, she's interested in this Dwarven Citadel. Like this eye socket here. It's about a 20-foot space. So that could actually be an elevator that rises and lowers into the structure. And this is just what remains of that structure after some forgotten war. So there could be little dungeons that are inside these larger asteroid rocks that, as a side quest, if you're hanging out at Topola's Tower and you want to have more content for Azaraxis, I could build a bunch of mini dungeons that are pieces of the shattered Dwarven Citadel that can be set up as places for the team to find their way into those structures and help Topola extract artifacts from them so that you can equip yourself. My face is looking particularly grayed out today. Sometimes it looks like snot on my nose, but it's actually just gray hair. Anyway, the idea here is that once I publish this thing, I can do a fun like little 10-page, like a 5-room dungeon inside of any number of these. Like the heated rock could be like the old forge that's been sealed away inside of debris. And then you actually have the citadel. It could be the weapon stores in here, so we could have mecha inside of here if we wanted to. This could be living quarters. These are huge rocks. They're big enough to have their own citadels unto themselves. A Dwarven citadel could be up to 500 feet in size. So on this 50-foot map, that'd be one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the space that a Dwarven Citadel can occupy at the 50-foot scale. This is also as large, like this is also the size of an armada, the massive carrier, elven carrier ships for the flitters. So I'll be building 500-foot scale ships, like capital ships, to engage with. But these are ideas that I'm having about, like, once this book publishes, what are other cool things we can do with the book? And so I wanted to do the Dwarven Citadel. That just needs to be done. Now these are things that I'm playing with. So like ideas I'm having about what to do next. You know, I want to do the Mecha book. I want to do the Dwarven Citadel. I want to do the Elven Armada carrier ship. I have the asteroid, the random asteroid generator for my own campaign that I'll be running. Probably start in February. Ooh, this is a bad decision. Mario wants to keep it clean. Be on the scene. Bum, 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 bum. Let's nib that off there. I'm a little too pointed. Pointy McGee, yeah. So I could do like a 4-page Topola's asteroids, or like maybe a 10-page little vignette thing, and then like sell it for like $4 or $5, something like that, as a side quest, and then bundle it with this so I can reduce the cost of everything, but and then offer more stuff. I love bundling things. I like making things and then making expansions of those things and then bundling those things together to give people reasons to you know, get more for less, you know. I love doing that stuff. It's fun. Like I said in my intro, when I build things, I build them because they're things I needed for the campaigns that I was running. So this is like my team wants a Spelljammer campaign, and I wanted better ship mechanics. So we built this book. It playtests great. It's awesome for using vehicle combat in Descent into Avernus. If for some reason I stay on the DMsGuild long enough, and if it somehow becomes like really, I think I'm gonna have to move into Kickstarter, because if DMsGuild is truly cratering, then I need to finish doing these love letter projects to the settings that I found. Like I don't feel compelled to do. I love Planescape, but I don't feel any particular compulsion to do any projects for Planescape, because it's basically just a setting book. There's no real interesting in-depth mechanics about Planescape, other than you're in the planes. But I mean, that's just, you know, those are just islands in space, basically, like islands through the never. So there's no real anything going along. But with them blending Planescape in, like with them putting Spelljammer into the Astral Sea, like they did for 4th edition, then Planescape can be a place that jammers can come and go from between the material world and the outer planes, or the inner planes, whatever, wherever you can find a door to, basically large enough to put a ship through, is how that works. So I'm not compelled to create any Planescape content specifically, but I could do Spelljammer Planescape crossovers. And start creating like demonic and angelic fleets with different types of ships that high CR creatures are piloting to be 3rd and 4th tier threats that your team has to deal with. And then he suddenly goes silent. Nowhere in particular, just moving. Good book, bad book. Bad books are good books. There you go. No, let me off the clone suit. I don't want to be alone forever. How are we doing on time? Okay. We got Got about 20 minutes left for the day. Cool. Now I'm going to pop. Do a shadow layer. The shadow layer. Shadow Realms top picks. Like that. Hey Karen, how you doing? It's good to see you. You don't owe me anything, man. You don't owe me anything. You know, you choose to be here, and I'm blessed for it. So thanks. Don't need to apologize to me. You poor little kitty. Oh, I hope he's okay. Oh, poor little moop. I'm sorry your kitten's so sick. That's sad. Oops, wrong one, Kearney. Here. Oh my gourd. Oh, that's... Sorry to hear that. Why are you... I'm on the wrong layer. Again? Come on, Kearney. There. Yeah, 5th time's the charm. There we go. Prayer to the little kitten. There you go. Chip chop chiri charu charum. Rocks. What happens if I put it under here? It's kind of the idea I was thinking of, but I don't think I like the execution. All right, well, I think I'm doing okay. So let's seems like I should be about here. Let's duplicate this layer, and then we'll fuzz this one. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Hey, how you doing, Lucas? Cheers. Blessed to you as well. I don't know what you're saying, my guy. Is this, you know, if you don't start using English immediately, I'm going to ban you. Just truths. Like, I don't know what all this shit is. You're mucking up my screen, my guy. Put user in timeout. Thank you, though. Appreciate you showing up. Just next time, have something more meaningful to say, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is Cloud Cluster. So instead of one world, it's an air world with the moons clustered within the same planetary atmosphere. So we'd roll the entire cluster here has the same atmosphere and the same visibility conditions, and this is an asteroid belt that we're using. Instead of one world, it's a scattered field of asteroids in a shared orbit around, like the Oort cloud cluster in our own solar system. Yeah. I forgot what it's called, but I was watching Space News, and they discovered a ring world. Instead of one world, the number of moons rolled above are equidistant from each other in a shared orbit around the central star. And they found a system like that, where two planets developed in the same orbit, and they think that Earth had one of those at one point, and that at one point one of them had more mass than the other, and caught up and smashed into it, which is what caused the moon to then spin around into orbit around the planet, which is why we have such an unusually large moon for the size of our world, and its distance. It's like all caterwonk. So it had like Trojan. I think it's like a Trojan system, or a Spartan, something like that. Trojan or Spartan, I don't know, but it's two of them, and it's really rare. But they just found one. Like they knew they were theoretical until like 2 months ago. So, and I just saw the report on it. But I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna just drop some more smatters out here, and we're just about out of time anyway. Blur, duplicate, merge down, overlay, merge down, give them a little bit of that shine to them. Go back to our normal cloud brush. Where's this at? There's so many layers. So many layers. There it is. We'll be done here probably in about 5-10 minutes, I think. We got about 5 minutes left on the clock today, but this piece is essentially done. So when we come back next time, we're gonna start a new piece, I guess. Cheers. This is how fast I wanted this stuff to process, but it wasn't. But now it is. And I has happy. Where's this? Wait a second. Where is this coming from? Where are you at, buddy? There it is. Thank you. So the atmosphere just kind of bleeds across. since it's in a like these. Okay, so the overall cluster is just a cloud of gas, right? But these things are sitting inside of it, and the moons are large enough to have their own spherical gravity, so they pull at the atmosphere around them, kind of like the ring world, but intentionally pulling the atmosphere onto the planet, while still drifting around inside the cloud itself. So I'm trying to have like this, like it'd be transitioning like up and down from, anyway. It's like these clouds feel like pathways that a ship could follow onto or off of the planet. You know, if that makes any sense. There, like that. Billy Mozart, hey, what's up? Right on. Thanks a lot. It's a Dungeons and Dragons setting. I don't know if you're in D&D or not, but I've been playing D&D for about 40 years now, and I've been building books for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons for about 5, and this is the next book that I'm going to be publishing later on this, like at the end of the month, maybe like the first week of February, something like that, like incredibly soon. This is one of the last illustrations I have to do, so not too much. Saw the rec. Saw you, my Rex. Hey, right on. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I stream artwork every morning, Monday through Saturday, and then I do game design at lunchtime, and then in the evening I do creature tokens for the maps. I do creature tokens in the evenings, and then on Saturdays I do more game development, and then I publish a piece every Sunday about like, here's how these mechanics work. Like, here's ideas about how this campaign works or whatever. So I build books, I illustrate them, and then I publish them. There's a slew of books down in the description down below that go to DMsGuild, where third-party content producers like me can use Wizards of the Coast's D&D IPs and use their marketplace to sell this stuff. So this is a sprawling 108-page document. One of the biggest complaints about the setting is that the developers didn't put a lot of rules about ship combat or how to explore space, like how to find things, and a lot of baseline physics that uses the game engine, the D25E game engine, to be able to express stuff. But mechanical design systems is one of the things I specialize in, like how to build different mechanical systems to depict different types of fantasy. That was my timer. I got to go here in a minute. So, but yeah, so there's like the 5-foot scale is your typical scale of combat. So, like this hammerhead ship, which is one of the ship decks that they offer in the box set, but we had to glam it up some. But it's a 250-foot long ship, which means it's 50 inches long, which is 4 foot. So you'd have to put a 4-foot map on your kitchen table. That gets really clunky, especially if you want to have two ships fighting each other 1,000 feet away, right? So I developed that there is no system in 5e or practically anywhere that I could find where they deal with scale. So we have a 5-foot scale, 50-foot scale, and 500-foot scale, these different scaling maps to be able to engage in ship combat. at different at different scales of combat. Here we can have fleets of ships occupying 500-foot squares, and then here's each 500-foot square. You can see like these 200-foot and 50-foot ships can occupy a single space together as a squadron. So you can have fleets engaging in combat at the 500-foot scale within a 1 mile square, and then you can have squadrons within that fleet engaging in battle with each other at the 50-foot scale. And then we're seeing here that you can then have these little PT boats, these little flitter ships. They're small enough to actually be able to land and then dump troops onto your deck. So these are like the way that D&D is currently configured is that it kind of like hand waves all of this ship combat stuff, and instead is like, after like when you start combat, assume that the ships got close enough to board each other so you can have combat at the 5-foot scale, like Fire Emblem or something, right? But the excitement that people had was that Wizards was going to provide ship combat to be able to deal with stuff like this, but they didn't. So that was an opportunity for me to then be able to develop rules and then publish them as something, hey, if you've been looking for this stuff, you can have it. So yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. So the whole system scales from 5-foot scale, 5-foot, 50-foot, 500-foot, 1 mile, which is 5,200 feet. So round down to 5,000 feet, 1 mile, 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles is the largest scale square you can have because the ships can move at 10,000 miles every 6 seconds. Or 100 million miles per day. You can scale it from 10,000 per second to 100,000. Every 6 seconds is 10,000 miles, so every minute is 100,000 miles. Every 10 minutes is 1 million miles, which roughly scales to 10 million miles every 2 hours, which roughly scales to 100 million miles every 24 hours. And that gives you your pace of 100 million miles per day, which is the scale of mapping that you do for the ships in long distance travel. So there's a methodical way to scale down through it. If you if you're interested in this stuff, I have a stack of videos here on my channel explaining these different mechanics. Like here's traveling with an atmosphere and scaling size. Here we have drifting through the astral space, which is what separates one system from another. So I've got a bunch of little vignette, like these are all the little videos that I put out every Sunday explaining the different physics that are inside the book. So when people check this stuff out, if they think it's cool, when the book publishes, they know where to go get it. So I don't know if you're like a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, but yeah, thanks, Karen. If you're a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, I created a color mana system so that you could use color magic, like white, blue, black, red, green. Yeah, so I built a color mana system. D&D has like spell slots and then like necromancy schools and stuff like that. And but I created an alternate system that uses the MTG color system so that you like if you have a wizard character, you can make him like an Azorius wizard that's like blue and white magic only. And so I have a system that you can make your D&D character using that color mana system. Like that's one of the mechanical systems that I've built that is really I'm really proud of that one. Because, it's fucking cool. But anyway. Oh, shit. It's 7:57. So I'm going to pretty much, I think, call this one done. I'm happy with it. And when this thing publishes, like, this is the navigation bar here. So you can see that we're in the system generator appendix here. So, like this would be and this is the combat section here. So we'll have a similar icon over here lit up when you're in the combat section. If I were to click this button in the document, it'll take you to the front page of the section. See, I have this icon up here in the corner. That's the hyperlink location for this icon. So when you click this icon, wherever you are in the 106-page book, if you click this icon, it'll automatically take you to the front end of the Random System Generator chapter. So all of these, like this is the table of contents, this is ships and equipment, combat, spellcasting, exploration, hazards, creatures and threats, creatures and foes, Random System Generator, and then Wizards published an adventure called Light as Araxis, which is the showcase for using their system. Well, I took their showcase adventure and I translated it to use my mechanics so you could play their adventure using my mechanics, and I added it as an appendix at the back end of this book. Like, if you want to buy this book and have these mechanics, here's how you can use them, and you can use this as a frame of reference. If you want to run a game using these rules in that setting, here's ideas about how to do that. So we're currently on our 295th episode over the past 14 months of me building this book on stream. So you can see all the assets being created and all that shit. So yeah, hey, thanks. I'm glad you think it's cool. Like I said, I'm a painter. I was a painter first, and then I became a game builder because I wanted to become my own art director so that I could decide what type of illustrations, instead of being hired to make art that I might not like. I decided, why don't I just make books instead? And then all the artwork that I put into it can become stock art and can be custom built to the pages that I'm building, so that this is like the asteroid belt here. Like, this asteroid belt is here, and this cloud cluster is here. So I'm like literally illustrating what I put on the page. So I have that level of control because I was an artist first and then became a game designer later. So I don't have to look for stock art or use AI or anything like that. I can actually just build books here on stream and talk shit about my books. And if people are interested in it, they stick around. You know, I ask for people to like and subscribe and help me build momentum. So yeah, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. But unfortunately, my day is over. I've got a day job and it's 8 o'clock, so I got to give my pound of flesh to the man, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's and all, you know. But I'll be back tomorrow morning. This is Wednesday. I run a D&D game for my coworkers at my job, so I won't be around at lunchtime today. But I should be around tomorrow. I'll be around tomorrow morning, no problem. And then if everything goes as planned, I'll be back tomorrow night to do more creature token art. So, and then on Friday I'll be back in the morning, and then at lunchtime I'll do more game development, and then on Saturday morning I'll work on game development. It's anyway, I'm all over the place. Yeah, right on. Thanks a lot for swinging by. You inspired me. I appreciate the injection of excitement. Thank you. And thanks Ked, thanks Karen for hanging out with me as usual. I love having you guys around. It's great. It really makes doing the art easier to have people to bounce shit off of. So, but anyway, that's it for today. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Later, Gators.